Hello, this is Gary Propek. Welcome to this presentation on setting up Bodez email using the bodezfitness.net email server. The purpose of this presentation is to help you set up your bodezfitness.net email on various devices. Normally what we're going to do to add a new account to our email on a particular device, on our phone, our tablet, our computer, etc. We'll open our email account, our email app, and we'll look for the link or button to add a new account. Might be in settings for your email app. It might be in a different page on your email app, but we need to find that particular add new account setting that we have. The only kind of application where this doesn't work is on an iPhone, because in the iPhone you actually add your new email account in the settings. And at the end of this presentation we're going to talk about some additional files that are sent to you if you're going to use your iPhone and want to set up email on your iPhone. So we'll look for that add new account link, and when we start that we will go in and we will add our email address and password right away. Now, many email applications these days will go out once you've entered your email address and your password. They will go out and try to find that particular server. Now, it's really easy for it to find the server if you're using Gmail, Hotmail, or even, as some people still do, AOL. It's pretty easy for it to go out and find those particular servers, the incoming server and the outgoing server. But because we're using bodezfitness.net, which is not a standard email extension, we probably are going to need to set this up manually on our computers, tablets, and phones. And again, iPhone is a little bit different. The email addresses that have been provided for us are firstname.lastname@bodezfitness.net. And the password is capital B, Bodez 1234 exclamation point. There are two additional email addresses that have been created. admin@bodezfitness.net, which is actually assigned to me, and contact us at bodezfitness.net. Contact us is going to be an email address that will not be allowed to send any emails. It will only be allowed to receive emails. And what I'm hoping to be able to do is set that up so that when somebody does a contact us at bodezfitness.net, that it's already automatically forwarded to the persons Tasso has designated to respond when someone contacts us. Now, again, if you enter your email address and password and it doesn't go out and find our servers, then what you're going to need to do is set up manually your incoming server and your outgoing server. So let's look first at the incoming server. The incoming server will use one of two protocols, IMAP or POP3. These are the standard protocols for receiving email. I'm going to go through the differences here in a moment. Most of our email applications will give you the option to choose IMAP or POP3. Well, how do you know which one to choose if you don't really know exactly what they are representing by those particular protocols? So first, let's take a look at IMAP. IMAP stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. When you are using IMAP, you will be connecting to your incoming server when you open your application. Your application will sync up with the server immediately. That is, it'll get the messages that have just been sent to you. The messages, however, are stored on the server. You'll be able to see those messages, but they're stored on the server itself. Now, when you read a message, when you delete a message, when you move a message, any of that particular information, that's always going to be reflected back to the server. So The example is going from my computer to my smartphone. Let's say that I deleted a bunch of messages on my computer, and then I left, and then pretty soon I wanted to check email with my iPhone. Well, if I'm using IMAP, those messages that I deleted will not be on my iPhone because they're stored on the server. So this is a protocol you're going to use if you want to use multiple devices to read your emails. That is, you're going to go from a phone to a computer to work to somewhere else, any of that. You'll probably wish to set up IMAP so that everything is synchronized. The second protocol is POP3. That refers to Post Office Protocol version 3. In this case, when we are using POP3 as our incoming server, we'll connect to our incoming server, and our emails are going to be downloaded to your application device. Now, new emails will continue to be downloaded, but because they're stored now on your application device, messages are going to be marked as read, not marked as read on other devices until it synchronizes. While the advantage to this is it allows you to read older emails that may be deleted from the server, it does pose some additional problems. For example, if I delete a bunch of messages, like I said before, on my computer, and then a little bit later I go into the living room and I grab my smartphone, those messages won't have been deleted from my smartphone until I synchronize. So you have to actually do a manual synchronization in order for those emails to show up as deleted. Or not to show up, actually, should I say. Okay. Now, POP3 will synchronize in email applications when it starts up. But after that, you'll actually have to do a manual synchronization. Now, this is actually a little bit more efficient of a service. However, we want to use this only if we're going to be getting our email on one device. That is, if you're setting it up and you're only going to get email on your iPhone, POP3 is probably a better way to go. Okay, just remember that things have to be synchronized manually or by shutting down your app and starting it back up. Now, once you've determined which of these protocols you're going to use, then in your adding a new account, you'll be requested to pick one of these particular protocols to use. Well, an additional thing that we're going to set up when we use our email addresses is a tool called SSL, Secure Sockets Layer. Secure Sockets Layer is set up for encryption of our communication between one machine to another. So if you're accessing your email on your iPhone, before that email is sent to your iPhone, it's going to be encrypted. And when you go to send an email and you send it back to the server to be sent, it's also going to be encrypted. So that somebody who's out trying to do something nasty, monitoring communication lines, they won't be able to see your particular data. Now, this is a commonly used protocol that's available for securing communication on the internet. For example, if you've made a purchase in a browser or something, its checkout is generally going to be secured via SSL. Instead of HTTP, you'll see in the URL, you will see HTTPS. And my colon's in the wrong place there. It should be HTTPS://. And what you'll also see is there will be a lock image in the address bar, some kind of padlock, and it'll show it's locked when you're using HTTPS. The lock will show as unlocked when we're using HTTP, or it may not show at all. HTTP, by the way, stands for Hypertext Transport Protocol, and it's the commonly used method of sending messages back and forth on the internet. And when I say sending in messages, that means actually accessing a page, etc., etc. So one of the things that we're also going to check when we do this is, when we set up our email account, we're going to check to see that we're using SSL. We want to use SSL for our email purposes. There's no additional cost to using SSL. There's no additional tools that need to be used for SSL. All we need to do is say we're going to be using SSL for our email. So when you go to add your incoming server in your email app, you will use mail.bodezfitness.net as the server for both protocols. Then you will choose the SSL, and if you do it for IMAP, you'll use port 993. If you're doing it for POP3, you'll use port 995. Ports are simply designated areas of the computer memory to receive and send messages from. Now, if you're using non-SSL for IMAP, it'll be port 143. If you're using POP3, it'll be port 110. So at this point, that's all you have to do for setting your server. Choose IMAP or POP3, put in SSL, and put in the port number. And I should mention that there are times when the applications will put the port numbers in for us. If you don't have a box or something to enter the port number in, let me know, and we'll make sure that you're doing things properly. So that was the incoming server. Now let's take a look at the outgoing server. The outgoing server is mail.bodezfitness.net, just like our incoming server. The protocol, however, that we're going to use is SMTP. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It's basically the most commonly used protocol for email servers to deliver messages to individual clients. In this now, we will also, you'll go to the outgoing server area, you'll put in mail.bodezfitness.net and choose SSL. And for there, you want to use port 465. If it's non-SSL, you'll use port 587. Now, once we've done this and we click OK, we should be able to access our email for the bodezfitness.net. Some of the additional things that can be email accounts, especially on your iPhone tablets, is you can access the contacts list or calendar. These can be set up manually. Actually, the instructions for this are actually sent in your welcome email that comes into each of these accounts. You'll get a welcome email. That welcome email will specify how to set up your calendar or your contacts list. If you're having problems, you want some help with that, please see me for the particular instructions if you can't figure out what you need to do for that. Included in that welcome email are 3 configuration files for using your iPhone. Now, these are the files that were sent to me in my welcome email in admin@bodezfitness.net. You notice that it actually has the username here as part of the file name. So there's one for email, there's one for contacts list, and by the way, if you're wondering what card means, that refers to the old card from the Rolodex, and calendar. Okay, and so we see calendar is there as well. So these files can be used to set up on your iPhone your email, your contact list access, and your calendar access in your email itself. And again, these files were included in your welcome email from the cPanel hosting. And what you'll see is that it'll be email-firstname.lastname@bodezfitness.net.mobileconfig. In order to be able to use this, you'll have to use an email application and forward this to your phone, because it must be saved on your phone either from a web page or an email. You'll open settings, and you should notice at that point that in your settings in the iPhone, it'll say profile downloaded. You'll then want to click the install link near the profile downloaded, and your email account will be added to your phone. And you can do the same thing with your calendar and your address list, your contacts list. So at this point, we should be ready to go. A couple of things about these email accounts. There's only 500 meg total memory for each email account. Not total, but for each email account. Okay. Let's not use these for purchases or for browsing the internet and getting a bunch of spam, because it can fill up your email, your inbox very quickly. If it's filled up, then of course I'm going to get an alert. And I'll tell you right now that if I get an alert, there's only one place that alert's going, and that'll be right to Tasso for something to occur at that point. And just a couple of other things. Be careful now. You may have multiple email accounts now. Be sure you're sending from the right email account. And now, that may seem kind of silly, but trust me, as a person who's done that, okay, you don't want to be sending an email from the wrong account. Don't be in a hurry to answer emails. Because certain things can happen. You might send it to the wrong person, the wrong group, or you might send some inappropriate material. However, I've been having a little bit of a problem defining what inappropriate material would be at Bodez. And as I said, you'll get alerts and warnings when you reach your limit, and of course I will forward those on, and because as the admin I will get those alerts as well. So if there's any questions or issues, you can certainly contact me, either at my new email address, admin@bodezfitness.net, or give me a text or a call, 303-898-5888, and I'll be around to help you with any issues that you might have. So thank you for your attention. That ends this particular presentation.